Hi, welcome to Bite Size Greek Genealogy. I'm Carol Kostakos Petranek from Spartan Roots.
And I am Georgia Stryker Keilman from Hellenic Genealogy Geek. This is episode 3, How to Find Your Ancestors' Village of Origin. This is a question frequently asked on our Hellenic Genealogy Geek Facebook group. And we are emphasizing right at the beginning here that it is very important to try and locate as many documents as possible for your ancestor and their siblings. Your ancestor's place of birth might be found on many old documents, letters, photographs. This is a letter that my grandfather had since 1918. When he died, my father kept all his old documents. None of the family understood what this letter was. About 30 years ago, I finally had it translated. This letter is from the mayor and priest of Ioannis of Sparta, stating that my grandfather was born there in 1890 and was listed on line 549 of the mail register. It also lists his father and mother's name. The government of the state of Laconia verified the signature of the mayor of Ioannis. Lesson: don't ignore documents. They may have just the information you need. These old letters came in an envelope. Here we see an envelope from Epaminondas Kleros, my mother's first cousin, showing Manthadea, Tripoli as the return address. We're going to look at that further later on.
Right, and this is the U.S. Greek Church baptismal certificate. This is the type of document that you'll find in family records, not something you would request from a church. The exact village names are given here. The father was from Ioannis, Sparta, and the mother was from Mistras. As we discussed in our last video, Greek Orthodox Church records are a primary source of information. This is a baptismal register from a Greek Orthodox Church in the U.S. The heading Patris means homeland, or in other words, place of birth of the father. On line 1, the exact village of Anavriti is named, but not the region. So we don't know exactly where in Greece it is. On line 2, we see Kriti, meaning Crete. No village is listed, but at least you have an idea where in Greece the father is from, and you can do further research in Crete. On line 3, we get exactly what we hope to find. The village is Ioannis, Sparta. You can write to the church and request a letter with the birth information and ask that all information written in the register be included. In this U.S. Greek Church death register book, we see the village of birth written as Anavriti, Sparta. We now have both the exact village and the region. The information in death record varies depending on what the informant disclosed. Remember, this is a death register, so it may be a child or another relative who gave the information, and that person may not know the exact village of birth of the deceased. We see this often in both civil and church records. Sometimes the location given in a record may be a larger city near the village, or even a county or a region. While that's not the exact information you're seeking, it will narrow the place to a more specific geographic location. This document is a Greek Church marriage certificate, again from a U.S. church. Like the baptismal certificate earlier, it's a document found in family papers. The village of origin of the groom is Ioannis, Sparta, and the bride is from Mistras. If your family does not have a certificate like this, then contact the church and request a letter certifying the marriage. That information will be taken from the church's marriage register book, which we will see in this next slide. This is from a U.S. Greek Church marriage register book. It gives the place of birth for the groom and the bride, as well as their current residences. Both grooms were born in Greece. The first was from Sparta. Remember, this could be either the general area of Sparta or the exact city of birth. The second groom was born in Mahmud Bey, Sparta. This is the specific village, which is located in the municipality of Sparta.
Tombstones. It is very common for the early Greek immigrants to have their village inscribed on the tombstone in the U.S. These tombstones are from Elmwood Cemetery in River Grove, Illinois. The first one is for Yorgos and Vangalis from Coronis Messinius, and the second is for Antonios I. Gliadis from Tripolios, Arcadia. These tombstones for early immigrants are always written in capital letters in Greek. If you don't know how to print your Greek surname in capital letters, simply post the name in English on the Hellenic Genealogy Geek Facebook page and ask for help. You should have a response in minutes. In most areas where Greeks settled, there were usually one or two main cemeteries where the Greeks were buried. That makes it easier to locate these. And they're wonderful, aren't they? You're going to be able to spot them right away.
Absolutely.
Okay. Social Security applications. The Social Security application forms include a question about place of birth. Look at all direct family members to compare information. The first one for Frank Odysseus Junius is my grandfather. He writes Greece, which he did commonly on things. He wasn't specific. His brother, however, wrote out Manthrea Tegias, Greece, which is the more specific village name.
Okay, let's take a look at will and probate files. These are terrific sources of information and extremely important in your research because they can give the names of the family and the village of the immigrant. In the probate file of Panagiotis Gonaditsiotis, this letter names his family and their village of Sklavahori. In a later video, we're going to discuss information found in will and probate files in more detail. Passenger ship manifest. To find a village of origin on a ship manifest after 1906, look at the last column, place of birth, which is in the red box on the right. In the yellow box, I've extracted some village names. Note that the county is listed first, then the village. Now, here's an important note. Passenger list prior to 1906, so that's before 1906, do not ask for the place of birth, but it does ask for the last place of residence in Greece, which may not be the birth location. Sometimes the immigrant went to a port and worked for a while to obtain money for his ticket. When asked for his last place of residence, he may list Piraeus or whatever port he was working at.
Naturalization papers are excellent sources for finding a village of origin. Here are two documents. The Declaration of Intention, which is made first. There, James Pappas put St. John, Sparta, Greece, as his village of birth. St. John is the English translation of Ioannis. So keep that in mind. Sometimes you're going to see it in Greek transliteration, and sometimes you'll see a translation, which is what this is. The petition, the next one over, says, petition for naturalization, James. He said he was from Ioannis, Greece. Note that the village name is misspelled. Also, there is no country or region, so we don't know where in Greece this village is located. And there are many villages with the same name in the country. By having both of these documents, we know exactly where he was born.
This document is an examiner's report for a certificate of citizenship. It was in the alien registration file of Pota Aridis. In this document, Pota gave information which was filled out by the examiner who signs the document on the bottom. His name is Thomas Church. He wrote the information exactly as it was given to him by Pota. She gave her place of birth as Logastra, Sparta, Greece, which he wrote phonetically. Notice he just wrote it with one G when the correct spelling is Logastra with 2 G's. In this U.S. passport application, George E. Pappas testifies that he was born in Ostia, Thebes, Greece. However, the village of Ostia is not on a map. Why can't I find it? Well, a couple of reasons. The village name may be spelled incorrectly, or the name may have changed, or Ostia may be a settlement within the city of Thebes. Remember that George had to be a naturalized citizen to get a U.S. passport, so I would also search for his naturalization papers, which may help me find Ostia.
Birth and marriage announcements are good places to look for information. This birth announcement gives the name of the baby's grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Agasilios Vasilotoulos, and their village, or city of Tripoli. The marriage announcement shows that the groom's father was William Tsagaris of Kalamata. Pertinent village information can be buried within the article, so don't forget to read the whole thing. Now, included on the handout, you're going to see links that you can use to search newspaper articles. Okay, let's have a discussion here. We have 2 brothers, different information. How do we reconcile this? Now, this is a comparison of village names used by my grandfather, Odysseus Chonius, and his brother, Chris. I haven't listed all the records because I couldn't have fit them on the page, but enough for the comparison in this slide. I would recommend you make a chart like this for your family, including the year of the record, and list the oldest first. Now, let's look at this. Passenger manifest. My grandfather came into the U.S. They wrote down Odysseus Sonis. His name was Odysseus, but he wrote, I don't know, they wrote it that way or what, but his name was Frank when he got here. Notice over here in the right-hand column, it says Kapodeli, Greece with a C. C's aren't in the Greek language, so this was clearly written phonetically. Now, on his daughter, the next line, his daughter's certificate of birth, my mother, it lists his name is Frank Chonius and the village of Kapodeli, Greece. Next line is World War I draft card for his brother, Chris Chonius, listed as Kapodeli, Greece. Okay, that's a good sign. We're moving in the right direction. Now, World War II draft cards. My grandfather lists the village as Tripoli, Greece. Okay, and his brother's draft card says Mantharea, Greece. Social Security application for Chris says Mantharea, Tegias, Greece. Social Security application for Frank Chonius says Greece. Passport for Frank Chonius says Greece. And that envelope that we saw earlier was from my mom's cousin, Epaminondas Kleros. He was a teacher. I'm going to think that he knew the name of the village that he was from, and he wrote it as Mantharea, Tripoli, Greece. Now, look at the discrepancies here in these village names. How could they all be different? Is this a mistake? What's going on? This we've talked about in earlier presentations. This is a website, the EETAA government website. And Carol wrote a great post on this. The link is at the top. It's also in the handout about how to use this website. But what it does is you can go in there and let's say, we're going to assume from that original list that Kapodeli is accurate because it's listed 3 different times, exactly the same way. Now, when I did a search on Kapodeli, I said then translate to English and it came up with C-A-P-P-A. Well, that's not correct. But I want you to look here. What I've done is highlight changes in the village name and the municipality. So all those other terms that were used to write down the village name by other people later on are accurate. We have Tehia, Manthadaeus. Okay, we have Kapodeli, Then we have municipality of Tegia. Then we have the municipality of Tripoli. So this will help you understand, if you make this chart, where exactly you should be looking. Now remember, when a village changes municipalities, the original records transfer to the new head of the municipality seat. So, but you will be looking for some records under the old name, some under the new. So keep that in mind. Now, okay, let's go back to this one thing, which is very important. My grandfather here, his World War II draft card, he wrote Tripoli, Greece. Well, okay, thanks for watching today. We hope that the tips in this video will help you find your ancestors' birth village. Don't forget the handout that can be downloaded. It's located in the YouTube description. And join us next time for another bite of Greek genealogy, which we will explore, how to find your grandmother's maiden name. Looking forward to seeing you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.